Hello, everyone. Pardon me for a second while I finish setting some things up here. Make sure I haven't screwed something up, which I wouldn't be surprised if I have. All right, I'm gonna get to enjoy some feedback while I make sure my sound is actually coming through on the stream. All right, I'm gonna get to enjoy some feedback while I. Okay, looks good. I'm just gonna share this. All right, so hello everyone. My name is Biscuits and or Mighty Space Fruit, depending on your particular predisposition at the current moment. And I'm here with a cast that I've been meaning to cast this set for quite a while. Just so happened I woke up quite early today, so I figured before I get to work, I'll just go ahead and cast this set because I don't know when else I'm going to do it, because it keeps not happening. So we have before ourselves Chipmunk versus Tom Aquinas. This is in the Camels bracket, around 1200 elo for both players. And both of these players I'm familiar with, at least on some level. Tom Aquinas is a member of the practice squad, which is a sort of Discord community tournament thing for, Age of Empires focused. And we actually played in the finals for Tiny Community Cup. So you can tell Tom is definitely a competent player. I think he's pretty comfortable on water. I think that's a pretty common feature for practice squad. I don't know too much about him otherwise though. Chipmunk, on the other hand, I have actually played against as well in Homeland League specifically. I've played both my sets against them now, and I actually casted a game of them versus Age of Empires in the hybrid division of the Specialist Cup. So they also seem pretty comfortable on water settings, and in this particular map pool, there are a lot of different maps that feature water on some level. In hybrid maps, getting some level of fish presence is pretty important, but also balancing how much you invest in them, we shall see. Although I'm pretty bad on hybrid, to be honest, I do enjoy them, and I repeat this all the time of how much you invest is important, but for me, I'm not very good at executing it. So maybe we'll see if these players are better than me. So, taking a look at the drafts themselves, we're gonna have Mired as a admin pick. That will be our first choice. We see Chipmunk getting Houseboat for the home pick. Tom Aquinas picking Boundary Brawl as a home pick. I know Chipmunk actually has played on Houseboat at least a little bit outside of any practice for this tournament, because I believe it was a friend of his picked Houseboat for AoE League, so did some practice there. Also picked Gondola, which is a similar Houseboat-esque map for Homeland League, and I did have to play on that map. And I mean, no, I don't mean to be. That sounds like I'm vindictive about it, but I'm not. But I didn't do well. I just put it that way. We actually see Pizza as the first ban for Tom Aquinas, so that could be a quite crazy map, especially if you haven't practiced on it a fair bit. So the first ban on that does not surprise me, but that does mean they didn't ban Houseboat, which I don't know. Maybe Tom is fine with that. And then for the Civ picks here, we have Chipmunk picking Georgians, Incas, Malayans, Malay, Tom picking Armenians, Dravidians, Khmer, Hindustani. So a lot of water hybrid civs here. I would be surprised if we saw Khmer anywhere that wasn't mired. You can dock on mired, but it's not usually, if it is relevant, it's usually relevant to the late game. And if you're a pro player, then I guess it doesn't matter at all because you don't remember that it's there. Hey, Addicted Me, welcome. Welcome here. These maps are sick. Yeah, Houseboat, your favorite map got through, so I mean, we'll see how that plays out. And Chipmunk, Georgians, we don't usually think of them as a water civ, and I wouldn't really call them that, but the fact that they get their mule cart is a great wood bonus, to be honest. And they can get their dock up much earlier, and they have a fine tech tree. They might struggle sort of late game against a dedicated water civ, but as far as the early game is considered, it's not a problem. But I would probably predict Malay on Houseboat, not Georgians. Georgians could be for Mired, or it could be for Boundary Brawl, but I'm not actually 100% certain. Incas could be Boundary Brawl for sure. This was actually played before the finals for the actual Wandering Warriors Cup, I should mention. So I don't think we're going to see the same thing that ACCM did with the Incas unless Chipmunk had the same idea. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into game number 1. Make sure everything's actually displaying. All right, so we're into game number 1. We're on Mired. Always think of a funny map. We have in the red Tom Aquinas with the Khmer, and as I expected, you can't really pick Khmer in any of the other maps, so it makes sense to pick them here. And then Chipmunk with the Georgians here in the teal. So Mired, as you may have seen, features these 5 boars in a kind of flanking goose formation here. And it's actually good intel if you spot the other boars that aren't your side. You can tell which direction your opponent's TC is going to be in. And the interesting thing here, we see that what Tom Aquinas is doing, we've seen some pros do this, where you just build the TC immediately here. My land horse to go back. Well, we'll see about that, Chipmunk, because this horse may get some kills in. But yeah, you put your TC here, you get maybe a veil or 2 ahead because it's producing faster. It's closer to the boars. You can wall up this shoreline, so there's something to keep in mind. You do need to build a lumber camp, but you want to do that anyway, so it's not a big deal. You could also definitely do that as the Georgians. You start with the mule cart, so like, it's hardly a concern at all, the fact that you need a lumber camp. Chipmunk actually pulls in that first board like extremely quickly, actually pulling it in before even building the TC, which is interesting. I don't usually see that. Usually most players I've seen wait for the TC to actually be built. But we'll see. Typically it's a bit of a micro battle, but Chipmunk is maybe thinking I'm going to lose out in that case, or I don't want to deal with it, so is just going to grab at least 1 board to start with. Now, you always have to be careful that you don't overextend yourself, because what can easily happen is you go way too ambitious. Now, I like Tom picking Loom, and I do like Chipmunk picking Loom as well, really early. You don't want to be too ambitious and just end up losing Vills or idling your TC, and then it's not really worth it. I mean, if your opponent gets like 4 boars, then they're just fine, and then, there's extra hunt, there's berries anyway. It's not a huge deal if they don't get a ton of boars. Personally for me, I'm always just going to gun it for... This is also a lot of decay here for Tom. Kind of a lot of lost food, but there's a lot of boars, so it may not be an issue. Tom's horse is lurking around. Won't be in time to grab this one, though, I don't think. But yeah, whenever I play this map, I'm going to be ambitious. Doesn't matter if it's a good idea or not. I go for glory. And I do see Tom, it's not quite glory, but is going to go steal. Well, he's going to steal these 2 boars. And you can actually see these for Chipmunk. But is Chipmunk looking here? Ooh, we're going to go for 2. Going to grab the third one? Man, imagine if Chipmunk's horse was here, though. I mean, you have Loom. You could micro this, though. Like, so... so the thing is, once you've clicked all the boars, you can just click your veil towards the TC and then just micro your horse. Now, Chipmunk will have noticed this, but is a little too late because the TC is right here. And you do not want to lose that horse. That is the worst possible thing here. Now, Chipmunk getting out. Now coming forward to take Tom's boars. So again, if you get 2 of these, then things are honestly still about even. So you grab the boar, just send your veil towards the TC, and then you can focus on microing your horse, which you will need to do. Ooh, Chipmunk, you need to bring your horse over. I mean, I like that you brought another veil. You might lose the veil. Okay, you gotta garrison your TC right now. Oh, okay, but click the board. Okay, good. We're good. We're good. You should have garrisoned your TC because you killed the horse. That's huge. But it's not disastrous. I mean, it's kind of bad, but it's not disastrous yet. Things could be worse. You're starting to like playing on boundary ball. It's unbelievably stressful. Yeah, I think you could say that about a lot of these maps. That's for sure. So, I mean, I was mentioning how it's not a huge deal if you lose boars, but That is a big swing. Is Chipmunk's horse was kind of out of position. Could maybe do some things here. Unfortunately, because of how close the TC is, though, for Tom, like it's kind of hard to make anything happen. But I guess if you have nothing else to do, but yeah, I mean, so this is the awkward thing. And I don't think you can take this anymore. But it's not disastrous. We can take that. You can actually take hunt with a mule cart. You can't take berries or fish, but you can take hunt with a mule cart. You can also scout with this, which is nice. But it's still not horrendous. I mean, it's not good. But it could be worse. You know, that's how I like to look at things. Nobody plays perfect. So, it's not the end of the world. We're actually still even on Vills. We had some idle time for Tom. These birds here are, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Chipmunk actually comes forward, though. I mean, as Tom, you don't even need to worry about this. Oh, but as Chipmunk, you really need this. Uh-oh. You wait. Okay, bring the horse. And block it for yourself. Should be fine. Tom goes out now. But it's way too late. Horse is out of position. I think if you're not going to micro these, then just put them on auto scout, though. Like, it's definitely really important to see the layout of the map. Give me some farms. Again, not ideal, but it's okay. I mean, it's not great. You're not in a good spot. You've lost a lot of horse, but it could be worse. We are about to click up pretty soon. Probably just need to force drop off and pretty soon, and then we can click up. And then the question is, always on this map, what comes afterwards? I actually quite like a ford that you don't invest a lot in, and then you just kind of wall up and go to castle. Tom has kind of an awkward spot for walling into the corner. Chipmunk is a little easier for walling. You know, you could wall from this to here, or here to here, or you could even wall on the stone if you want. That's also another reason why scouting is so important. Make sure you actually have a full wall. I'm not sure where these builds are going. Maybe just scouting. So this is the thing, like, your horse was kind of idle for a long time. So if you're not going to use it, just put it on auto scout. No shame in that. But it is 20 bill up and 21 bill up for Chipmunk. And you see how it's not terrible. It's not terrible for Chipmunk. And we are Georgians, which are a strong civ, of course. I'm kind of wondering where the first mule cart went. I don't know where the first mule cart went. Oh, it's right here. I guess that's okay. I mean, I kind of prefer it to just... I mean, I guess it's fine to build another mule cart, but you could just use this to take this. But that's also fine. At least it's being used. You see double range from Tom. Interesting. It's going to be really important for Chipmunk to scout this out, but we haven't seen... We're actually in the director. I think we might be going to see what our opponent's doing. Scouting this would be really big. You know, if it's double range, it's like a super aggressive build. You could probably still defend with one range skirm, but you need to produce out of it constantly. And we actually have a market instead. Was Chipmunk thinking of a fast castle? I don't think we have the res for that. This is going to be really dangerous if we don't make army to deal with this. I know Jordans are strong, but they're not, like, invincible without army. Going to grab some more deer. Well, these are actually ibexes, I think. Yeah, but, you know. Basically deer. Yeah, the idle time is pretty good. We do have now a minute idle time, but, you know. It's not horrendous. Could be a lot worse. We got blacksmith barracks. So I guess we wanted to build a range or maybe a stable. And we didn't have the barracks up yet. We're not producing out of these two ranges. Okay, now we are again. Never mind. Getting town watch for Chipmunk, I think, because housed. Fair enough. I get housed an infinite number of times on these maps. Walling up for Tom. At some point, you will need to wall up the front. Make sure nothing can just dive through on those. So it looks like it's going to be skirm defense. Which is, I mean, so in theory it should be okay. But we're going to be up to 8 archers before we even have a range up. And we will need to get upgrades for sure if our opponent's going to go for them. 3 skirms in queue. Blacksmith now. I was going to say, like, I would have liked these forward even, but, like, to be honest, this is pretty close already. And we are out. 8 archers. See what they can do. I mean, they could just decimate these vills. Could be a pain on the woodline. You might even need to tower this. It feels pretty bad, but you might need a tower here. Protect your woodline in the gold. Because you have 3 skirmishers. And we are getting fletching now for Tom. So this is pretty dangerous. And I don't know if... I mean, 3 skirms without upgrades is not going to cut it against fletching archers. Okay, we're getting fletching in. Might lose a vill here. See, this is the problem. I kind of think we have to tower here. It feels really bad, but... I think Tom also can just sit here and idle the vills as well. I think that's a better move than just sitting here on the mule cart. And also could scout with the horse, because if you scouted these, you could kill all of those vills. We didn't scout this either, which is nice for Chipmunk. Getting the armor, okay. A little out of position, you could take this hill, take some nice shots. And what is Tom going to do behind this? It looks like you're just going to add eco. So it's not great to have to go into fletching and armor as Georgians. It's not really what you want. Fletching doesn't feel that bad. Fletching is always good to have just, you know, in general for your buildings, TCs and castles, etc. And I guess in theory the armor could be nice, hand cannons, long term. But, you know, it's not really what you want. And we do have a scout out, and Chipmunk's kind of going far forward. I mean, this is some nice hits. Get a kill. Maybe a second kill coming in, but not quite. There's a tiger attacking Chipmunk's vills. We need to really just need to fight back. There you go. Archer dies here. This archer will die. So the scout can take care of the skirms, but if you just stay near the TC, you should be fine. And I think Chipmunk needs to also try and wall up here. Otherwise, you're still going to have military in here all the time. And we still don't have a tower. Might want to consider making a spear as well. But you can just garrison to kill the scout. Yep, there you go. So this isn't, again, this isn't really the comp Georgians want. But it's okay as a defensive option just for right now. Like right now, you're just trying to not take a lot of damage. And take a lot of damage, I would say, is true. Chipmunk is now housed as idling TC for a bit. That's not great. I don't like this though. I really think you need to wall here because you're going to keep letting military come here in the back and be a pain. There's this hill. It's going to be an issue long term. Also, yeah, go kill that horse. That's a good option. And we're up to Castle Age for Tom. Ah, welcome, Chipmunk. Yeah, sorry, I was expecting this to be, like, not a great time for any player, but I just happened to be available, like, I just happened to have some time right now before work. So I figured I'd cast the game because I've been meaning to cast it for a while, and I've only just now gotten here. So Tom's archers are coming around the side. We're going to be up to Castle Age, actually not by a huge difference, only about 30 seconds, so it's actually not a huge lead, but these vills might get caught out. Actually, that spear's really good for Chipmunk because, you know, they kind of took the fall. Scouts are going to get some hits in, but the skirms are going to come in. We do have another spear for the scouts. Going on to stone now. Spear might get caught out. It's kind of... You know, we take this hill, we take it... Like, this is where I really would have liked a tower here. I think that would have helped a lot. Tower and also walling here. And here would have helped to avoid this happening. Or at least delaying it so you could get your army in position. I think we might be just going for a castle for Manaspa. But you might honestly need a stable. I mean, you need a stable for Bloodlines Husbandry anyway. And you might be good to have a few knights out or even just a few scouts at some point here. Yeah, it became quite stressful with the double range. Yeah. It's a pretty aggressive opening for Tom here. And usually, you know, it's more common, I often find to just go, like, for a single range forward. And it just so happens that, like, your TCs are very close on this particular map. But we have our Bodkin crossbow timing. But now we are up to Castle Age ourselves. We do have a stable. I'd like to see a knight out of that. It's pretty awkward. I mean, like, you don't really want to go for a lead skirm, but you might have to here. I mean, you definitely can't lose all your skirms here. But this is definitely a situation where Chipmunk is kind of in a tricky spot. And a lot of that comes down to not walling in earlier when you had a chance. So now you're kind of stuck here. And your opponent has all this army. And your Reals have to keep running around. And this mule cart gets abandoned. And this is Castle Age skirms versus Feudal Age skirms, which is not great. We're also not producing out of any military buildings. We'd like to see some knights. We got the first armor. But I think Tom can just, like... Yeah, I mean, could just, like, sit here, here, shoot down vills, idle farmers, forward siege. Forward siege and adding in the TC. So we're kind of penned in for a Chipmunk here. Pretty awkward spot. We're also not producing any army, which is maybe the biggest problem right now. We definitely have the res for a few knights. I mean, I know we're not on gold right now, but we have... Okay, we're gonna drop a castle. Let's see where it goes. I guess this is a pretty good spot. The only problem is that it doesn't protect any of your farm eco once the siege comes forward. So we will need to relocate here. I also still think a wall here would be nice, because you mentioned where would you still be vulnerable with the castle? Well, they could come around here, annoy your mining vills here and here. Getting wheelbarrow now, getting elite skirm. I guess we're gonna go Manaspa, which is fine. I mean, they are good. I think they're a little less tanky than knights though, so we'll see how they do versus crossbow. But we only have 17 crossbow for Tom. We're actually not making any more. Just making a mangonel. Getting ballistics in now. We do have bodkin on these skirms actually, so although they're pretty low HP, they should do nicely against the crossbows. Should get bloodlines in before this is destroyed. So mangonel can now come forward and attack this TC. Alright, so we can definitely kill some crossbows. We have to be careful with the mangonel, of course. We have 2 Manaspa out. We have bloodlines for the first armor. We'll need the second armor. So yeah, without our own siege workshop, kind of the only way we kill this is with the knight or Manaspa. Which might be what Chipmunk is thinking about here. Tom's gonna run into the castle there. But keep in mind, behind this we have 2 TCs for Tom, which are not actually running right now. but we even have the food. We should be queuing vills, but so it's not like we're committing a whole lot to this push. But the Manaspa could come forward. It's only 2 of them though, and they're missing an armor. I would have liked if we waited for more. I mean, I know it's kind of... Yeah, then we also got flattened. This is a pretty bad spot. We should definitely add another TC. Just buys the stone, add another TC back here. So we kind of had to wait for the second armor and some more Manaspa so we can guarantee kill both mangoes. The problem is that we have fully upgraded crossbows here. Well, missing armor, I guess, but fully upgraded for most of the things that matter. But it's okay. We can still raid, because our opponent has not walled the front. So this castle, you can't really push into this anymore without like a whole bunch of rams are going up to imp. And Chipmunk definitely needs to be careful with these Manaspa though. They are not super cheap, given the eco situation. That being said, I don't like how much idle time Tom has while we were doing that push. Second TC, well... I mean, the second TC, but now we're just up to 1 TC, really. We don't have a lot of army out for Tom, though. But it seems like we might be going to Imp pretty soon. We don't have a castle of our own. It's a nice snipe. I think you want to go for some raids at this point. Probably get the second armor and then go for some raids. We see militia out from Tom, which I would say it's a misclick, but we're queuing 3 of them. But I think that's supposed to be spears. Okay, Monastir come for... Oh, okay. This is good. From Tom to wall up. Is it going to be in time? I think it is, actually. These can still pose a big threat, though, I would say. I also think you'd rather just go monks instead of spears here. But it's a nice wall, though there's still a gap. Still a gap. Oh, unless there isn't? Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah, that's not good. Chipmunk really needs the second armor, though, because these Monastir are still going to die really quickly to TC fire. And any more crossbows that come around, which we don't really see. Oh, this is actually a pretty big raid. It's a lot of focus for Chom, and we're losing quite a bit of vills. I'm actually going to drop a castle to stop this. But that's fine for Chipmunk, that's good. Meanwhile, we've added our actual second TC now. And we can just pull the Monaspa back, and we can just actually look for a different spot. So the thing about the pikes is they're really slow. So, in theory, they should be okay when they get into range. Although 4, you can't really fight that. But they're really slow, so you can kite them around. Getting bow saw now for Chipmunk. We're missing any farming upgrade, but it has been quite hectic. These 3 vills are supervising a construction site they're going to build near the reeds in the near future. I'm actually going to rebuild here because we're not under any pressure anymore. So I actually think Tom can just stick with crossbows. I think they're going to do well here. I mean, I know we have skirm from our opponent. We will need something to deal with it, but I think siege is a good option to have. We also need to get onto gold. And we have gold here, but it's kind of fully saturated. We're going to build a forward TC? Whoa, that is gutsy. Why don't we just build it here? What is this? Imagine if Chipmunk just comes over here and obliterates your vills. That's a huge loss. We're still missing the second armor for Chipmunk. So I hope we get that at some point. We do have skirms. I can actually kill both of this pretty nicely. Man, this is like... What is this? What? Tom, what is going on? Why did you build... I mean, maybe you just had the vills around. Well, there's the 3 here that were supervising the construction project. Maybe you just had them around from building, like, buildings here, and you just like, well, I want to do something, but... Like, if this gets lost, it's a huge loss for you. You could just build a mining camp or a lumber camp or something, and then build a TC here. But I guess we'll see. I do like Chipmunk just mining the gold here, completely unspotted. Don't have any vision in this corner for Tom. Some outpost would be really nice here. Getting the second armor for Chipmunk. Now we're building a fortified church. I guess another one like, I don't know, maybe here or here would be nice. I'm not sure. Oh, ballista elephant. Interesting. Saving grace during this period was the gold vills. Yeah, the gold vills have done really well for you here because Tom hasn't spotted them at all. It is pretty unusual for TCs to spawn this close, but it's quite easy to scout out early on. So you just have to be cautious. And you know, with your horse, you can always be active with it and get vision of what your opponent's going to do. Adding more ranges now for Tom. Or house for Chipmunk. But now the eco count is actually pretty even. I think you could still go for some... Well, actually, maybe not at this point. Because at this point, all the army for Tom is here. Chipmunk's about to find this out real soon. Okay, now we're getting the second armor. That's great. I would say, like, one place you could try and raid is here, but now... maybe here, actually. Some palisade walls. But it's kind of hard. Oh, and then you could also just go here as well. But it's kind of hard to say. At this point, we don't have a whole lot of vision. And now we see the forward TC. So, at this point, Tom's going to go to Imp pretty soon. And Chipmunk is still quite far away. So we need to add some more farms. Getting up to Imperial is going to be a big deal. We don't have a forward castle, though, for Tom. And we don't have anyone on stone. So we don't have, like, a great position. I think the lack of vision... Oh, actually, never mind. Great outpost from Chipmunk. So you, like, know your opponent is here. And you see this TC anyway. You're going to try and build a forward castle. It's a little ambitious. Well, I guess this isn't forward, is it? It's in your own home base. Also feels a little unnecessary. I mean, you already have this castle here. And you're going to lose a bunch trying to put this down. I think you'd be better off just going up to Imp. I mean, you're floating a lot of gold. You could buy some food. And, you know, it covers a lot of space that your other castle already does. So yeah, I feel like expanding over here, castle over here, trying to get up to Imp is going to serve you better. I mean, your opponent doesn't even have a castle here. So they can't even produce trebs in this area. But we're going to commit more because, I mean, fair enough. It looks like it should go up. We're going to build another forward TC from Tom. Again, it would be just a much safer play to go back here. But, ooh, I really like these outposts, though, from Chipmunk. It's really good to get vision. I think, you know, not only is it good, of course, just to see what your opponent's doing, but it also means you can play more confidently, you know? Like, Chipmunk knows there is nothing here. And then when there's army coming in, I can get out in advance. And I know my opponent is here, right? And they have the more mobile army right now. So you're actually a lot more mobile. Okay, so now the forward TC is going to cause Tom to suffer. But we are up to Imp. We don't have a forward castle. We do get bombard cannons as Khmer, but we do need chemistry for that. The Chipmunk really just needs to get up to Imp right now. Oh, you built the outposts from me? Yeah, I really like spamming out outposts lately, especially on these maps. I think, you know, in a map like, there's a lot of circle-based maps where lots of this gold is getting hit again. I'm actually just diving under the castle, which is a little gutsy. Not sure about that. We're up to Imp now for Chipmunk. But on these maps, yeah, usually we have like kind of a no man's land in the center. I mean, here you could build docks, but you know, you're not building buildings in the center, right? So it's kind of expected your opponent's going to expand on the sides. But it's really good to know how much they've expanded or how little, or, you know, where your army is placed in general. And this is a total waste. Repairing this is not worth it at all. We have a TC here. We could build another TC here. And, I mean, okay, we're making trebs, but like, see, imagine if instead of this, we had a castle here. We could make trebs forward and we could be already trebbing this castle down. I also don't see Bracer. I don't know if we got chemistry in yet. But we should definitely get our upgrades in for our crossbow. I do like that we got halved, though. Getting spawn towers. See, look, now we're getting the castle in, but actually our opponent's going to be up to Imp in a minute. These spawn towers gives you pass-through damage on your towers, which is nice, but I don't see any towers just yet. Also, if... Okay, now the trebs are forward, we're trebbing this down. That's good. If Chipmunk loses this position, we actually do have this to expand with. And you see how now Chipmunk like can see everything, and you know that your opponent is still just here. Now we're getting Arbalester. I think Bracer is actually more worth it to get first. But we have ballistics in already, which I like. So this will go down. It's actually okay because we have this. Do we get bomber cannons? No, we don't. Okay, so we do need to make trebs. It's a little awkward because we want to make a Monaspa. We definitely want to make trebs. I think the trebs can still sit here and treb this. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm not sure if they can range. I guess we're gonna find out. Looking for some Monaspa raids. You can actually just kill this palisade, probably go around. Whoa. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna build a castle here with those gold mining vills. Going for his stables for Khmer. I don't know why. We could definitely just go for some raids for Tom. Tom is like really blind to what's happening. And like has only seen this. Doesn't even know there's a TC here. Getting chemistry. We could also get bracer for our skirms. We're actually missing the last armor, which is not great, but it's okay. So yeah, this treb is kind of... This is a pretty nice castle for Tom. I don't know if you can really... Yeah, I don't know if you can really push this now. You can't really snipe the trebs. You can snipe this one, though. And then I think we go for some counter damage still. We have this castle now. Imagine we could just... One aspect kills all of this. We could definitely find some damage here. And then we could also maybe think about dropping a castle and pushing on this side. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to hold this position. I like that we're getting chemistry and bracer. Probably need to get some more ranges out. Maybe back here because these might die soon. I'm not sure how... I know it's cheaper for the Georgians, but I'm not sure how worth it is to repair this because... Like, it's buying us time for it to not die longer. But I think you can give up this position. I think this is really what you don't want, which is just losing Monaspa to the Arb mass. Your skirms can deal with these. They're getting ballistics in. Yeah, great. Okay, so yeah, from this castle, now we have 3 Monaspa just killing these vills. It's really bad for Tom. So it's kind of an awkward spot for both players, I feel like. We've lost a lot of our arbs though. And now these ballistics skirms are going to kill a lot. They are missing 1 armor, so not the best, but we're losing a lot of arbs for Tom. We're not really reproducing them. Or replacing them, rather. This castle's going to go down now. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was worth because like this, but I mean, I liked it. I did a sneak rain or a sneak like stable, just a night or two. Honestly, maybe would have been better, but fair enough. Oh my god, this game 11. Is that... Chipmunk, is that just like, you mean this game in general, or something weird happened? I mean, this is very... It's gotten very chaotic. Tom still hasn't expanded to the sides or like outposted or anything. Still is like totally focused here. Which I think might cost him the game. I don't know. Hard to say right now. Actually, a really big eco difference. I didn't even notice this. We're not replacing any vills that we lost for Tom. Now we're making more arbs. I wonder what Tom is thinking with these 2 ballistas, by the way. You can cut through walls and stuff with them, but we haven't seen that. We have some light cav out. I would like to see them just like thrown around, get some scouting. Imagine if they were on these vills here. We have skirms out to deal with the arb. I don't... I wonder if we... I mean, I guess there's not really too much more raiding we can do. The Monaspa. Now we have the castles. Yeah, we kind of have to push the castles down. We should have our skirms here to defend the trebs. I mean, I know they don't do a lot of damage with the arbs, but they will kill them eventually. And these are expensive losses. But it kind of feels like Chipmunk can just keep garnering like nice defensive positions around the map, and Tom just doesn't... Like, he's just not expanding off to the sides. You're gonna lose a lot of vills here. Again, these 4 TCs, I feel like just did not do well for Tom, and he would have been better off expanding this way. But castle is now down for Tom. We have this castle for Chipmunk, which is pretty rough. We can actually make a Trev now and go for this castle. Technique to heavy scorpion. Interesting. Would like a few more siege workshops if we're gonna do that. Also would like to see some more attack upgrades. I mean, we may end up taking it to Halb at some point. So it's good to have on your cap and your Halb. Only 3 on gold for Tom. Let's have this gold. This gold got denied. Yeah, now we're gonna go for some raids, but there's a castle up already. Could maybe get these scouts, or sorry, these vills. It might be interesting to see like a couple of towers up here. Masonry coming in for Chipmunk. We might lose quite a bit of vills here though, which is not great for us. It's okay. It's not a huge loss, but it's not ideal. Now we're gonna come forward with the army for Tom. We can garrison here. We're gonna lose some stuff. Skirms come forward. Lightcap dies. Skirms can take care of this. I don't know where they're going. I don't know where they're going. They should go kill them. I don't know why they're standing here. Yeah, fair enough, Chipmunk. It has gotten quite chaotic. Ooh, the scorpions are out. Heavy scorpion, fully upgraded at ballistics. Tom is not doing anything here. Ooh, he's losing a lot of army. And I don't see anyone on gold. Oh no. Now see, look, now Tom is looking to expand, and actually we're gonna run into a castle from Chipmunk. Looking for this gold. Actually we'll get it. We don't have a castle here for Chipmunk. And the castle here would have been nice, but this one's been quite nice. Ooh, the GG is called. Wow. So that kind of looked like it was definitely in Tom's favor there with the double range. Chipmunk was under a lot of pressure, but didn't actually lose that many vills. Got the skirms out and got the defense up. And then kind of got back into the game. I still think some walls like here would have made Chipmunk's life much easier instead of having to cloister up here, but eventually was able to break out. This castle was really nice actually to like stop the push. And the thing is, Tom, you know, put some pressure on but wasn't committing to the push, which I don't mind that, right? It was mostly just trying to put some pressure on your opponent and then boom up behind it. But I don't think Tom boomed up super effectively. I feel like these 2-4 TCs really cost him the game, because imagine if that was over here, we could boom up much more effectively. When we lost the position, it wouldn't be as bad for us. I mean, losing the vills here is unfortunate. But, you know, if you get the castle up earlier or something, maybe the castle here on the gold. Protecting this gold's good too. And then also, Chipmunk's vision was way better. And then Tom just wasn't expanding out to the sides. So things were just kind of rough. But actually, I had to take a moment, folks. At this point, I felt I'd raided a fair bit, so I felt the eco advantage. I thought it was worth to lose vills if I meant I could kill his army. Yeah, I kind of agree. At that time, like, Tom, so he's just now looking to get to gold, right? He took him so long to expand outward. He's kind of running low on res here. So it's a lot harder for him to replace the army than it is for you. But I actually have to take a moment, folks, before I get to game number 2. I just need to send out a work email real quick. So I'm just going to mute for a moment. All right. Hello, everyone. Let us get into game number 2 here. So we're probably going on to Tom's home map, which is Boundary Brawl. Right, I've seen Tom play for water control here. Can be quite good, of course. Alright, we're into game number 2. Make sure I'm actually showing everything. Yep, game number 2. We have Chipmunk. We did win. Oh, also, this is a best of 3 part in that. We have Chipmunk in the teal with the Malians versus Tom in the red with the Armenians. So we're here on Boundary Brawl, and an interesting quirk about this map. Center is always visible. So you can see what your opponent is doing. You can see if they don't TC the middle, which is not very common. You have 2 rhinos here, placed sort of behind where your TC will go. You have a few stragglers. You have the berries, you have the hunt. So typically, I guess what you could call the most standard play that I've seen, at least amongst pro games, is you just take the stragglers, you go for a dock, and you get the rhinos in. At some point, you go for a lumber camp, and you go for water control. So the water control is super important in cutting off your opponent's ability to escape with the vills to the main island. But you do have to be pretty active with them, and playing with galleys is pretty micro-intensive. Fires are still good here, I would say, but, you know, there's so much space to work with, and if you mass up enough galleys, you know, and as long as you're controlling them well, fires can't really do anything at that point. Demos can also be a pretty big deal on this map. Also, we see Tom just come forward immediately. Personally, I like grabbing one of these water buffalo. You can do it with a vill, just go out, grab one of them. Or if you have a fishing ship, you know, you can just scout with the fishing ship. And then you can just go and scout with your water buffalo. So you don't have to waste walking time with your vills looking around. You can already find it with the water buffalo. But Tom's going to drop a mule cart, so, you know, it doesn't have to worry about that too much, because, of course, you could just move the mule cart around. Not a huge deal. I don't like the fact that Tom is doing this instead of just pulling in a rhino first. And make sure you have the food eco to keep the TC producing, which we're about to run into here. So I much prefer, as your first play, pull in a rhino under the TC before doing this. You don't really need to be doing this right now. It's much more important to keep the TC producing. We already have 27 seconds of idle time, but it's not a disastrous amount. But personally, I prefer to get the rhino under the TC first before anything else. You do have an elephant here, and the nice thing for the Armenians, of course, is the fact that this mule cart can be for food or wood. So, unlike anyone else, we'd have to build a mill and like lure the elephant over here. It's not a huge deal, but you still have to do that. You can just use the same mule cart you used for wood. Both players are housed, getting loom. Where's the house for Tom? I don't see a house for Tom. Well, that's unfortunate. Rhino's in for Chipmunk. We have 1 rhino for Tom. I think we need to see some more vills on the rhino. See, right now we're floating a lot of wood, and I don't know for what reason. Like, I know we're going to put a dock down, but, like, we're not doing anything with the wood right now. So right now we need food production. Okay, we're going to dock here. So this is actually... This is good because your opponent doesn't know that you're doing that. Now, it's a little more suspicious as Armenians. Also, I really like Chipmunk scouting with these water buffalo. Tom was also scouting nicely with this too. But Chipmunk has a little more vision right now. So the nice thing of the dock force here is that your opponent could see it if you docked here. But they cannot see this. It is a little more sus with the Armenians, of course, because you kind of expect them to go for water. Tom also needs to grab the other boar or rhino soon. Some more houses for Chipmunk. I'm not sure what Chipmunk's plan is here long term. I mean, you could definitely play for water with the Malians. They have cheaper wood buildings, which is always nice bonus for water. Typically, you want to go into some kind of cav play with the Malians. That could certainly be an option here against Armenians. The only thing is a little awkward because they have nice halbs. I mean, they're sort of generic in most regards, but you can get them early in Castle Age. So, you know, maybe a little awkward. Your Gabetta should do quite well, though, if you get them out, I feel like. I mean, you have to go Arbalester against mass Gabettas for Tom here, which is also fine, but if you wanted to go for infantry, it's a little awkward. So we're going to drop a dock. Our opponent will see this, and has Chipmunk... Okay, I think this Water Buffalo should scout the dock pretty soon. Getting a fishing ship out. We're up to Feudal Age. Opponent is not there yet. We have a... This lumbercamp is all the way back here. I guess that is pretty secure. Okay, up to Feudal Age 2 for Tom. Not that far behind. We're housed again, which is unfortunate for our dock. Now, Chipmunk would have seen the Water Buffalo... Oh no, you still have it. Okay, you've seen the docks. That's good to know. I don't see either player on gold, which I would expect if they wanted to go for navy. I actually don't see this gold, but not this gold. They're kind of far off. There is this gold too, but it's kind of in the way in the back. And now we're going to drop a second dock here. Okay, so it's definitely going to be galleys from Tom. We don't have anyone in gold yet. Okay, we're going to go for gold now. Dropping a house. Gathering up the Water Buffalo. I like it. Still no one on gold for Chipmunk. Okay, never mind. Now we're in gold here. So, 1 dock versus 2. We can't really contest. I mean, we can get a fire, like a couple of fires out early. Yeah, we can get a couple of fires out early. Maybe kill the fishing ships. You know, maybe kill some galleys before they get to a big mass. But like they can just outproduce us. As long as they're actually producing. Yeah, there we go. You know, there's not much we can really do. Okay, we do drop the second dock. Alright, so this is a good moment to keep in mind. So that does mean Chipmunk wants to commit to water here, which could be good or bad, depending on how things play out. This TC is actually a really big deal, because even though it's kind of awkward, at some point you kind of run out of things to do. You kind of want the farming space, and it is still like, it's the only TC you have until, you know, you get to Castle Age, you can drop some more. And even then, you know, if you lose this one, you could be on 1 TC instead of 2. We're getting double bid X now for Chipmunk. Blacksmith coming up for fletching, presumably. And the Armenians are sort of extra good at fighting fires, of course, with their galleys. They shoot an additional projectile, which I believe is just 1 damage, if I'm not mistaken. But it is still good against fires. They have some nice pierce armor, as you can see. But if you do 1 extra damage, that's 1 extra damage. Getting wheelbarrow for Chipmunk. Interesting. Four galleys now for Tom. And we're not producing out of this one. What's the play here? I think, so if you're playing with fires, ideally what you do is try and collapse on your opponent from the sides. But there's a lot of space to work with, and both of our docks are here. So it's a little awkward, and especially now that there's 4 galleys. About to be 5, 6, and they do have fletching as well. So it's going to be hard for us to really fight this. That being said, this does, like, cost APM for Tom. So imagine if, in theory, if we had, like, a forward range or something. Then it's, like, Tom cannot focus on both of those things at the same time. I do like the repairs. The only thing is, like... Okay, now we're going to go for our own galleys. I'm not sure if I like that. I guess we'll see. The thing is that the Armenian ones are much better, of course. They already have fletching. We're going to lose 1 fire. I mean, it is actually good to have fires as a meat shield and then galleys behind. But I don't know if it's worth to double down too much on the water here. I think it might be better just to invest into getting into Castle Age. At some point, you can maybe drop a castle or something on the shoreline if you need to get back on water. But you know your opponent has kind of invested a lot on water, right? They gone for galleys, they gotten fletching, and it's going to be really hard for us to catch up at this point. We would need fletching ourselves, and we would need maybe some nice demo shots could do it. Yeah, but for right now, you know, we're getting caught off. We're kind of letting Tom play the game that he wants to here, which is kind of what I would like. You know, maybe even a barracks, and then go for like some scouts or something on the wood line, right? Ah, welcome, Tom. I see you're doing quite well here on the water. It's a very nice micro. And yeah, I mean, again, so the things don't look great for Chipmunk. We're playing a lot of wood. Maybe just drop some farms, to be honest. Yeah, get the hunt as well. Drop some farms here if you want. And now things are kind of like there's kind of no way Chipmunk comes back on water right now. Anyway, not without a castle or like, you know, tech difference or something like that. Especially against Armenian galleys. I mean, so either you had to go for your own galleys, or you had to like you had to have like a forward dock and like sit on the dock while they're producing, or you just don't play the game Tom wants and you get in on the land villas here with a couple of scouts or archers or something. But blacksmith market come up, can click up to Castle Age pretty soon, just buy some food. And Tom will be up not too far behind. It's a bit of an eco lead, but it's not insurmountable. These galleys are going to be annoying. That is for sure. But again, not horrific. And Chipmunk, what's going on here? Right? Just buy some food. Buy some food. What are you doing? Market coming up for Tom. So I like Tom's position. We're going to click up pretty soon. Okay, there we go. This market will come up, and then I think we will click Castle Age right afterwards. So I do like Tom's position. However, we do have to continue to be active with our galleys. I mean, if we just like fully control the water, like just dot galleys around and prevent these villas from ever escaping, then, you know, Chipmunk's going to be in a really awkward spot. I mean, we can drop new TCs in the near future, but we still want to be able to produce out of this. And this is like, what? 10 vills that may never be able to escape. You know, the galleys at some point will outrange the TC with their upgrades in the Castle Age. You can maybe drop a siege workshop if you wanted to. I kind of would like a castle, which we might be seeing. I think we're going to see some knights from Chipmunk too, which could be quite good. We have scouted where our opponent is, right? We've seen the dock. And this is kind of a similar thing to the previous game, where I much prefer Chipmunk's scouting to Tom's. I do like the way Tom has controlled the galleys. Very nice control here. But now, I would really like to see some scouting on the land. Maybe just a barracks, get a spear out or something. You know. Or even just an outpost here or here. I mean, like, we're completely blind to what our opponent's doing on land. We know everything that's happening here, because we can see it. We always have vision here. It also would be really nice to get like a couple of fires out just to kill these docks. We're on stone. I think we'll see some knights pretty soon. Pretty soon, Chipmunk. Right? You're definitely gonna make knights, right? We wouldn't get armor for no reason and drop two stables for no reason, right, Chipmunk? Oh. Castle in the middle. Okay. I actually, you know, I did this in a practice game recently. With the Mayans for the plumed archers. So this is interesting. It's gonna kill this TC, which is not great for Tom. And you can get Gibetos, which are a great raiding unit. Now, the only thing is that if Tom is very aware... Well, for one thing, he can kill this TC, actually, which is unfortunate. But if Tom is very aware, he can just shoot down the Gibetos before they actually come out. But this is annoying, right? We're going to lose, presumably, Blacksmith Market and TC. But let's see what Chipmunk can do with these Gibetos. I also would really like to drop another TC here, because, like, you can't... What are you going to do against this? I almost wonder if... I mean... Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I don't think you can drop a castle that covers the shoreline and the TC at the same time, so I guess it's more worth to kill the TC. I'm not sure. But I almost think you could have gone for an aggressive castle drop in here, though. You had the vision. But we'll drop the TC here. We'll need a mill. Otherwise our vills are going to go wander up to here. And that will not be good for them. We have a single Gibeto out. Killed the fishing ships, which is nice. But I would really like to see it do some rain damage here. We don't have any land military for Tom just yet. And they don't compare very well against the war galleys there, yeah. Okay, knights out for Tom. Who would like to see these stables be used for Chipmunk at some point? On the one hand, yes, you want knights. Also, you have 0 eco for knights, ergo knights. Yeah, but like, I mean, listen, you're floating a lot of stone. Just use the market, 1 or 2 knights. Imagine what they could have done here. When your opponent has no TC, no land military or anything. They had everything on the navy. That could have been disastrous for them. But, we'll see. I mean, this is nice to have. You're going to go into cav at some point, probably. But, I mean, it's just like you got the first armor and you had 2 of them. And then you got up to Castle Age. You could have done some market use just to get just two knights out. It could have done a lot of damage. But anyway, we're vilifying the houses. Do we have a mill? Okay, we do have a mill. Okay, that's fine. Knights are going to be the choice here for Tom. We actually already have 6. We're missing upgrades. We're getting the first armor. We'll have a TC up for Tom, or sorry, Chipmunk here. So there's not too much we can raid, but this will give some good vision and maybe force a reaction from Chipmunk. Actually, these vills are going to be caught out of position, I think. Probably want to move them over here. It's more safe. But the knights might do some damage first. Yeah, all your vills placed in that castle. I know, but still, I mean, like... Still, you could have used the market a little bit. Maybe get the 2 knights out before you drop the castle. I mean, it's not like Tom was going to stop you from dropping this castle, to be honest, right? I also don't like that Tom just stopped here at the knights. Like, I mean, it's good to give you some vision, so this is a safe TC, but why not go forward? Okay, now I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I think... Tell me if I'm wrong, Chipmunk, but I assume what you want to do here is you want to cover the shoreline so you can get back on water. But I would much prefer, like, a forward castle on land. Alright, maybe that's a bit too cheeky. Yeah. Okay, you realize. Okay, but Tom's looking around. These knights are horrifically blind. They cannot see anything. They're going to run into a TC, but they might get some kills before Chipmunk realizes. Oh, okay, that's a really good reaction. We actually garrison immediately. We have some really nice vision, actually. I wonder if we have Town Watch in. But we actually have no army here. Okay, now we're making camels. We at least have the first armor and bloodlines, which is nice. This market will go down. Knight's sitting here. Now we have some idle eco. But yeah, see, like, we could probably put a castle here. That would be really bad for Tom. But we don't see that. I mean, we know our opponent's in this direction. We know knights came from that direction, but we'd like to see some outposts, though. We saw the outposts in the previous game. But, I don't know if I probably wouldn't call this an equal position, but it's still either player's game right now. Loading a lot of wood for Chipmunk. Need to drop some farms. Ooh, it's going to be an engagement. There are more knights. Upgrades are fairly even. But yeah, I guess you don't want to commit too much to that. Losing some bills. This is probably the most awkward thing for Chipmunk. If we still have all these bills in the middle, which are just going to die to the war galleys. So we probably need another TC. We have the res for it. Maybe a castle as well. Like, you maybe put a castle here. That should range the coastline if you want to dock at some point. Maybe a TC here. Again, also you could go forward. I mean, so Tom has tried to push into the opponents and sees like, okay, it's a pretty nice defensive spot. It's not too much I can push into. Third TC here, that's nicely placed. Gold and wood. But Chipmunk hasn't scouted the enemy recently. Oh, okay, we're gonna go for 4 TCs. Jeez, alright. I like that if we add more on food. Oh, is Tom coming? Wait, what? Is it forward? Oh. Huh. Okay. I like it. We have the Navy to support this. We also have the Navy to kill these Vills. And the Knight. This is, But Chipmunk might see this and see that our opponent is going to castle drop us. We can't actually do anything about it, I don't think. But it at least gives us more time to react or think about what we're going to do. I think we need more camels is like the main thing right now. We need to drop some farms and get more camels out. And then I think we just have to abandon this spot. Which is awkward. We will need to build a new blacksmith, a new market, but... Ooh. Okay, this is nice. We did get 3 kills as well, and some more raids. Okay, this is good, actually. While Tom is here... Oh, we're gonna build our own castle. 12 versus 9. Actually, does Chipmunks go up first? I think Chipmunks might just go up. Actually, maybe it's the same time. It looks like this might go up at the same time. Okay, garrison immediately. Okay, well... I'm not sure if this castle was worth it, though. Because you still can't... You can't use this TC anymore. And it would be more valuable here. Because now your vills are going to go all here. And what does this do for you? Like, even if you make trebs out of here, it's kind of awkward. We're going to make petards, but I feel like that's... We don't really want to invest in that. I think instead we just want to drop some farms. Do some more raiding. I mean, look... Tom has all these vills idled. Camels here in the back. We don't have any army for Tom here. But things have gotten quite messy, you could say. You're just upset with the play? Alright, fair enough. Uh-oh, the Knights come forward. Tom, gonna find these vills out. Like another 4 TC from Tom as well, which we'll see if that does not, see if that is also a problem for Tom again, just like in the previous game. We're gonna garrison the vills. It's awkward, but it's okay. Definitely add some more farms for Chipmunk, which is kind of the main thing I see here. And where are those camels at? I think it does some good work. I think we could still send some more stuff in. Uh-oh, Tom is up the imp. And we have this this castle. Actually, what has this castle been shooting at? Oh, maybe it's just the petards. So if we actually kill this before our opponent gets up to imp, that's actually pretty big for us. We are some on stone. Although, actually, now that I think about it, we can get a cannon galleon out for... Or sorry, actually, we have dromons. That's even worse for us. We can get dromons out for Tom, and actually, that's where the water control becomes a really big deal. Some knights come in. Chipmunk is going to garrison. Would like to see some more camels out defensively. At some point, maybe if you get a castle out, but camels would probably be better here. Single demo roaming for kills. Mm, 30 on food now for Chipmunk. I also think we could think about some Gibettos. Just, you know, 2, 3, maybe 5. They could do some nice raiding. We have this castle, and now our opponent has shifted all their focus down here. And the castle does go down. That's actually kind of Well, I mean, again, we have Droman, so it's not that bad, but, you know. It's not great. You'd rather be able to make more usage out of your imp timing with some trebs or something. Trebs can cover more area, although I think the Dromans can range this TC as well. I don't... They might be able to range this, but I'm not sure. Like, maybe they go right up here. They might also be able to range... Well, actually, I don't know if they can range this castle. I guess we will find out. We're up to in for Tom. We are housed. Getting crossbow. Okay, crossbow out without any archers is interesting. That's fine, you know. You want it as an option to Camels. Can also be good against Gibettos. And your opponent does not have bracer on those skirms, which really sucks. They're not as bad as Frank skirms, but not great. Ooh, we're gonna go forward. We're gonna go for Fort Castle. It's pretty gutsy when your opponent's up to imp, but they actually don't have a castle in the area. A Droman could maybe range this. We're actually gonna get 2 TCs with this castle. I mean, the Camels should be able to deal with this, but I would like some more upgrades on them. I don't see a single Droman out for Tom, which is like maybe what I'm most sad about. I mean, we get up to imp, and then I feel like we haven't done anything with the imp advantage. And again, the 4 TCs are gonna be a problem for Tom. I feel like this... It's like a much lower investment and a lot safer for you if you just, like, this is just mule carts if you want to keep the vills working, which is totally fine. And maybe even a tower if you want to keep it defensive. But now we're going to be down to 2 TCs and our opponent is on 6. I mean, they're not all actively working, but can be a problem if we lose a lot of vills to raids. Harder for us to, you know, bring them back. And again, I would like some outposting on the sides. I guess you can't really put outposts here for Chipmunk. But maybe, like, maybe one here. You know your opponent's in that direction. So we do see Arbalester. We don't have Bracer in. I don't think we have Chemistry in either. Floating some res, but I think we're going to go up to imp pretty soon. Another GC for Chipmunk. Okay. I really do like the way Chipmunk has expanded. Kind of like the previous game, Tom, like, still, I feel like, should expand a little more to the sides. Especially because you have water control. You can, like... You could take up a lot of space. You have a lot of map control. I don't like the 4 TCs. I definitely don't like this second one. I mean, you didn't know you were getting castle drop, but like this is a big investment in like what is basically just going to be wasted. But I do really like this forward castle. Now the arms are coming forward. We're still missing Bracer. Getting in the armor. Bracer's going to be much more important. Castle was demoralizing. Yeah. You get a castle on 2 TCs. But also, these are 4 TCs. So, you know, I mean, they're not exactly safe. They're like in, you know, the vills that go here to colonize, they get compensated extra, but they have to sign a waiver that says they might just get, you know, killed by camels or castle fire or Gibettos. That is unfortunate Gibetto there. We need to garrison these inside when we produce them, otherwise... Uh-oh. Okay, this time, this one... Okay, it is safe. I don't know why we're making Gibettos out of here, though. I guess maybe for here? I'm not sure. Anyway, we will be up to imp for Chipmunk, but our opponent has quite a bit of Arbalester. And this is a bit of an awkward spot for the Malians' tech tree, I feel like. You know, their skirms... It's not that their skirms are terrible, but... Oh. It denies that TC for a little bit, but the galleys are there. Oh, there were my camels. Oh, I get those made the camels that were sitting here for a while and Chipmunk forgot about. But yeah, they got some nice disruption there, which is good. So this is gonna be a pretty good push for Tom here. I'm not sure what the Malians do against this. Like, you can tech into skirm, but they kind of suck. So maybe you just have to go for siege. And like cav or something. Also get some raids in is very nice. We do have a castle which will protect things for Tom. Now we're getting horse collar. You're gonna Droman. I don't know if a Droman would range this, but it would definitely range this, right? And it probably should range this. We're gonna lose this TC. Getting a heavy camel in. We don't have Farimba. I think it's a pretty expensive tech. 650, 400. You could probably afford it in the near future, though. I'm not sure if it's worth it. Right now, you might just want to get your army count up. Arbalest galore. GG. Yeah, I actually don't... I don't blame you at all for GGing here, Chipmunk. I played a practice game of Malians against Magyars, and like once they got up to their big CA mass, I feel like I didn't even have any. You didn't just create one; you created two Cavetas out of here, Chipmunk. I don't know why. I think maybe you just wanted some scouting, or maybe you wanted to kill these villains. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of awkward for the Malians to deal with. I feel like. I mean, I think you have to go siege or something. Like, I think specking into full skirm here when you're so far behind is not going to do it. You're going to be too slow anyway with the push. So maybe you get, bombard cannons out. You do have scorpions, right? No, you don't get heavy scorpion. Maybe onager. I'm not sure. And just like get some light cav in front. The light cav can tank. I mean, they're going to die. You're going to lose a lot of them. But once they get onto the arbalest, they should kill a lot. And the bomber cannons will do most of the work. Mostly the light cav will be as a meat shield. But yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't really know how to play Malians that well. But yeah, the series is now tied up. Interesting game. Nothing to stop those arbalest. Yeah. I don't it's kind of I think, so the game was quite messy. I gotta say. Tom took nice control of the water, but Chipmunk had a pretty nice position. I don't know. Maybe you need to get some more raiding in earlier. Before Tom had a better setup. And then, like, focus on setting up more farms and more eco. And if you got to imp at a decent time, like kind of a comparable time, Tom didn't do too much with the imp straight out of the gate. So you had enough time to work with before we got to an arb mass, and then maybe we just try and keep raiding our opponent. I mean, we didn't have a castle here for a while, so it was still quite vulnerable. I also think some drones from Tom could make things even better for him. But hard to say with a game like this. I mean, things got very messy very quickly. Quite chaotic. Hard to say what would have been better and what would have been worse. But either way, let's go ahead and get into our third game here. Oh, there it is. Okay. On to game 3, which will be Houseboat, which is Chipmunk's home map. We'll see how well prepared both players are for this map. It's definitely a map that you need to be pretty, maybe not pretty practiced on, but quite ready to play on. Excuse me, sorry. Make sure everything's still showing. Okay, good. So we have Chipmunk with a Malay dropping 2 houses immediately. Interesting. I haven't seen it before. Tom, on the other hand, with his Dravidians. Pardon me. Not dropping houses. Doing a more typical play I've seen, which is just start fishing. And then at some point we'll drop a house here. We have a house to start with, so we don't need it right out of the gate. So I wonder if that was maybe more instinct for Chipmunk, or I don't know, maybe there was a secret idea behind that. I could see these houses getting in the way of your vills going for shorefish, but it's actually okay here because the shorefish is all on this side. That works out. So this is a pretty hard map to play. I don't really know the best way to play it. But typically what you need to do is you need to scout out a couple of water buffalo. At some point you're going to get some elephants. And then, you want to get a dock up, of course, but you do need to make sure you get a lumber camp up before dock, otherwise that's pretty disastrous. And then you get a dock on the shorefish, and then fishing ships will make up a lot of your eco. And the fishing ships will be a big deal later on as well. At some point you will want to probably get some fishing traps. And the thing with fishing traps is that they are 100 wood apiece, and they are really vulnerable. And it's quite expensive if you lose them. It is cheaper for the melee, which is very nice to have. But you have to be cautious. If your opponent comes around with, like if they dock your own pond, if they get some archers or something, they can snipe them. That can be quite costly. A pretty typical I've seen is like go for a dock that's more forward, like towards where your opponent might be. So it gives you more vision. You can be more prepared if they try and dock you. I've played against Tom actually practicing Dravidians, and I'm not sure what he will go for here. But what I saw there was archers, which is, I think archers are pretty good on this map. Scouts can be good, but typically, you know, it's pretty common to see some walls, especially when you have a kind of wood line back here. You know, kind of wall towards the beach. We do see a kind of wall already for Tom. If we scout this wood line, we can wall to here, which could be quite nice for us. Would he try and certainly felt practiced? Well, I guess we will see if it's similar to what I was thinking. That was also quite a long time ago. I just realized, like, I think that might have been before the brackets were announced. I don't remember. That was actually from Practice Squad, not from the community tournament Discord. I think. I could be wrong. But you have to keep ferrying your vills on the transport ship to get to the shoreline. Very awkward to do. Once things get very chaotic and there's a lot of action, it gets even harder to focus on that. Gonna bring some water buffalo in under the TC once the shorefish run out. That is quite nice to have. Gonna drop a house. Would kind of prefer as part of a wall here. But, you know, nice to have. It's good to not get housed, of course. So, fair enough. Dock before lumber camp on this map is insta GG. Yeah. Yeah. I actually think, Chipmunk, I can't remember. I feel like I made a lot of mistakes in that gondola game, but I may have done dock before lumber camp because I just wasn't thinking. I don't remember. So that wasn't my best showing. Tom has these water buffalo, which I assume will be brought under the TC in the near future, but right now we're ferrying more vills towards the mainland. And Buffalo just kind of setting up their eco. We have 3 fishing ships for Tom, about to be 3 for Chipmunk. The shorefish collect really quickly, so they're a really nice food source. Getting loom now for Tom. It's very nice that the buffalo under the TC. You can see the shorefish has run out around the TC, so you would like to keep those bills working before you ferry them off to the mainland. Now, Chipmunk is not clicking up yet, but because we're the melee, we click up much, much faster. So, it's not a huge deal for us. We will still be a competitive time, or sometimes even faster than our opponent. We're going to into gold, which doesn't signal too much to us, of course, because they could just be for Navy. Maybe defensively. I don't see a forward Vil, so I don't think we're going to dock the Vil. Or, of course, it could be for range. Dravidians are quite nice for this kind of play, of course, because they get 200 wood on age up. We see the loom, and then we're going to see the click up right afterwards, I assume. I don't know about these walls. I feel like... Can't you just wall here? I mean, I know that's kind of far away from where everything is, but... Like, I think you have the time for it on this map. Oh, okay, we do see 2 forward Vils now. And the thing is, if your opponent comes in here, you might get squeezed into a corner, and also we still have the wall here. I feel like this is kind of wasteful. I think a wall here would be much nicer, but... See, oh, it is a forward dock. Okay, never mind. I feel like the Vils are a little late. We could have this dock up already, but fair enough. Now, Chipmunk will spot this. Yeah, we'll spot this. We have 2 docks. We're up to feudal really soon. We're on gold already, so we should be able to fight this off. But what we'll really see is if this causes a lot of disruption for Chipmunk. We do have a single fire out for Tom defensively. But we don't see any aggression right now for Chipmunk. Oh, third dock. Interesting. Okay. So we're definitely going to try and shut down this aggression. We might see a second dock for Tom. And we are going to see the second dock. So that's definitely help with the Dravidian's bonus. But we have a nice setup here to defend this. Can start producing out of that third dock. Scout under attack. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Double bed X coming in. Very good tech to have, of course, on a very water-heavy map like this. We're not producing more fires, though. It does need to be microed. Yeah, okay. Now, the Vills can repair this, which is nice, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay. Well, that's not great for Tom. I think we're looking to repair. There's actually another nice thing about defending here. You pull towards the TC and you can repair this. Okay, we're making more fires. Also, like a single demo shot in here would be huge for Tom. We're housed for Chipmunk. Oh, 2 forward Vills for Chipmunk. Interesting. Wonder what they're gonna do. So we have 2-2 fires. Actually, we have 2 more fires. We have a third fire. Going into the TC, we have 4 fires, 5 fires for Chipmunk. We're gonna try and get a hit on here. I think you maybe try and make a demo and try and demo this for Tom. Like you can. This is probably still good just to disrupt, like force Chipmunk to keep. I mean, we have up to 3 docks though. I feel like the third dock is maybe a little excessive. I mean, we are producing out of all of them. I don't know. I also wonder if maybe a demo or a single galley for Chipmunk would be good to snipe the Vills. That's kind of like the only thing that's saving Tom here. Or saving the military anyway. I don't know what's happening with these forward Vills. I think Chipmunk may have forgotten about them for right now. Maybe when things get a little calmer, we'll come for them. Yeah, I already disrupted your forward Vills dock. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like... That's a good thing to do on this map. You know, at some point, right, you kind of want to make fishing traps, especially as melee. And it's like, it is pretty, like, time, you know, APM sort of intensive. And so is transferring the Vills. Like, this map in general is pretty intense on your sort of split focus. So, anyway, disrupt that is good. We do have a demo out. Ooh, okay, demo's coming out for Tom as well. I do apologize, by the way. I'm thinking about it now. Like, I'm clicking on these docks a lot. It's like a bunch of annoying bells. I know it is closing on a Christmas time, but oh, okay. Demo comes out. It's a nice shot. Kills 2 fires. We do have another demo, but oh, 2 more demos. Uh-oh. Chipmunk has to be careful. Ooh, not as good. Still good. We have 5 fires for Tom though, but demo's gonna come in for Chipmunk. Gonna get a hit off. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like one of those demos just going to the fishing ships might have been more worth for Tom, but we have a nice setup back home. We're actually floating a lot of res for Chipmunk. Yeah, this is a hard map to play. Getting a blacksmith up. Market up now for Chipmunk. Fire's coming in. And I think at this point, Tom doesn't want to commit too much more. Yeah, we click up to Castle Age. I think we can still get like 1 demo out. I mean, look at this. Look how tantalizing. You see the fishing ships. Imagine. Okay, we drop a barracks. Probably be a range. Also, I'm just realizing these walls don't actually protect anything because it's not fully walled. But hasn't been a problem. These 2 Vills again. You know, they were given assignments, but you know, things got kind of cut off from HQ, so they feel like, you know, they could just take some time, kind of slack off for a bit without any repercussions. Okay, single demo is here for Tom. I don't think you want to do that. I think you want to you hit the fishing ships. But we see 2 ranges for Tom. Don't have any upgrades on our archers yet, but will come in the near future. Okay, now Chipmunk comes forward. There's an outpost, which is nice. Another outpost. I do like the outpost. I really like the outpost, actually. We also see these ranges, too, which is really good knowledge for Chipmunk. Getting fletching for ourselves, but I don't see a range. Maybe a galley defense here? You could wall up on the sides, right? Maybe here, or maybe here if you want. Pretty soon we can just drop another TC, which would be quite nice for us. So both players are up to Castle Age at about the same time. Getting Archer armor in, but I don't see a range. Yeah, I mean, that's a little awkward. We're going to go to Skirm defense, which I guess is fine, but we don't even have a range up yet. Our opponent's going to start making archers. But we don't have crossbow or fletching or bodkin in for Tom, so... Idle TC for so long is futile. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard. But I agree. I think the fish trap eco is probably the way to go, especially his melee. I think it's a good idea, or it was smart to not worry about the forward dock, because the timing was kind of off. And, you know, it's like how much damage you're really going to be able to find. Probably better just set up a nicer eco. You know, you mentioned as the melee, you should be able to have a better eco as long as you keep the fish traps working, because it's much easier for you to set them up. And our opponent has also docked our pond, and they've gone for 2 ranges. So we know they don't have a bunch of fishing traps back home for themselves. So we just need to protect these fishing ships. I also see we have stone. Could drop a castle in the near future. In theory, it could be on the opponent's base, but I think here it's going to be back home, which I think is a much safer play. Elite Skirm coming in. See, now we have archers, but this archer push isn't doing too much right now. It's only 6. They're just crossbow. They don't have fletching or bodkin. We are going to drop a castle here. So that should cover us quite nicely. It is blocked there. I think we will need a second TC, though, for Chipmunk. Archers come forward, no fletching or bodkin or crossbow though, so yeah, they're gonna die to the elite skirm. They have armor, they have bodkin, and they are elite skirm. And these are basically feudal age archers. But we have the second TC up before our opponent, so we can actually keep making mills. So we walk into the castle is up. And now things are getting a little awkward for Tom. That being said, you could go for a siege push here if you wanted. Maybe at this point, you can't really go for your own archers. But you could go for a different unit. Or you can maybe go for your own skirms if you want. Or maybe just siege. Or maybe just add eco. Maybe just adding eco is probably the smartest thing. Some nice fishing traps for Tom. Don't see any for Chipmunk just yet. Oh, actually, never mind. Sorry. We do have some here right here. I don't know if either player has gill nets, but that's definitely a big get for either player. There's actually a quite nice wall for Chipmunk as well. I wonder if... Does Tom see that? We're going to build a 2-build castle. Okay, interesting. Cram is coming forward. Oh, no. Chipmunk sees everything, though. With these outposts. Definitely has Town Watch in. And the Kramers are gonna get... Yeah. They're gonna kill these vills. Things are pretty well walled here for... Oh! Another sort of thing that's really hurting Tom, like the previous games. Not just having some outposts here. Or walling here as well. We're gonna have some, presumably, elephants, I guess. I did see Chipmunk go for elephants in a specialist cup game. We have a castle up for Tom, but it's kind of a sad castle, if you ask me. It doesn't cover that much, doesn't gain us any more ground. Again, I really like Chipmunk's vision. Maybe just like missing outpost here, and like maybe here, I don't know. But the eco's still pretty even. Okay, Gillnets is now coming in. Eco's still fairly even. I think I prefer Chipmunk's position because we have a few more fishing traps set up. It's not that bad for Tom. Wheelbarrows coming in. Up to 3 TCs, although, you know, maybe kind of 2. Maybe like 2.5, depending how we use this. But we can definitely research in here. You know, the wheelbarrow, etc. But now the problem is, like, Tom kind of invested a lot to get this push going. Didn't actually invest that much because we didn't get crossbow or fletching or bodkin. But we didn't, like, get enough damage with it, which is kind of probably the worst thing. And now, Chipmunk has a pretty good position in terms of like map vision. Again, knows that your opponent's kind of in this corner, which Tom seems to like to do. I feel like the main problem, I think Tom seems to just not be as good at expanding outward and getting like either some military or outposts to get some vision. We do have 2 elephants out for Chipmunk. No upgrades at them at all. And we don't get blue lens, we only get 1 armor. But some attack upgrades could be nice, but they do have pretty high attack already. I mean, attack upgrades can be just nice for the Camels anyway. We're adding another TC, but we're like totally blind. Oh no. Oh. I don't know if this is... I mean, I guess it's fine. Now we have the Camels as well. They will die to the fires. I feel like you just send them into their opponent's eco here, but... Because well... Maybe they do kill the TC, I don't know. Do they? I mean, you could just kill the Vills, right? Maybe they kill the TC in time, I'm not sure. Yeah, Malay elephants are very fun to play with. Maybe not for your opponent. But you have a really nice eco setup here, so you can spam them out. And now we kind of add another kind of sad castle because it just doesn't... Thing is, it gets Tom stuck in a corner. Like, it might defend you against this push, but it gets you stuck in this corner here. So you can't expand out, and you're gonna lose access to res. But only 10 eco ahead. How's the game for Chipmunk? I guess did we see the castle? Oh yeah, so we see the castle, and we think, okay, well, again, we know this is kind of similar, right? I mean, apart from here, which is kind of unknown, we know our opponent is in this corner, and that's like about it. So we can just take up a lot more space to work with, right? We can get the relics at some point. I don't even know where, like the relics around here. We have a better eco setup. And then at some point, you know, we can go for a push. We can build a fort castle somewhere. And then what can Tom do at that point? It would be pretty crazy if we had if we had elephant archers from the Dravidians player here. I'm not sure if that's actually a good idea, but I think I would like to see it, whether it's good or not. They're also really expensive to make, so that's probably the biggest problem. Now we have like Imp Res for Tom, but I don't think it's worth right now. I think right now what you need to think about is like what military unit do you want to go for here? And you want to start building towards that. So you kind of lost a lot of map control, but you haven't really lost that much eco. So you want to start building up your military, or thinking about what military you want, and then see if you can push that a little bit, or at least get some idea of what's happening. Because right now, I think this is kind of Chipmunk's game. Spot the castle, and again, we can see for Chipmunk, really good vision. We have a really good idea. It was just like a single outpost here. And now we're going to scout this, which is great. We just know our opponent's stuck here. And then what are they going to do? Okay, we are going to go up to Imp, but our opponent's up to Imp before us, because they're melee. We are going to go for ranged unit. Skirm, maybe. Or maybe Elephant Archer. I'm kind of sad this isn't on the hill. We have vision, we know there's nothing to stop us. I do like the fires out to scout things. 7 is a little excessive, I think, when we haven't seen any aggression on here, but... Ooh, okay, we do see Elephant Archer. So, Elephant archers are very strong, but they're also quite expensive. I'm not sure how they compare to the elephants, battle elephants from the melee. I mean, we're missing 2 armor, so they're not, and bloodlight, so they're not like super tanky. I guess we'll see what happens. We battle of the elephants here. Castle on the hill. Ah, you didn't want cannon gun. Yeah, that's very smart. That's fair enough. But I almost wonder, well, I guess that's fine. I almost wonder if, like, at this point, you could just, like, castle, get in a, well, now it'd be a harbor, and then just, like, clear up his pawn. Because then it's, like, totally over. If you take over this pawn and have your own cannon galleons, like, what is your opponent going to do? But, you know, this is probably a much safer play, so fair enough. We're going to get a treb out. We can treb this down. We get chemistry. And then we can get our own bomber cannons as well. One of these, we don't see a lot of military from Chipmunk right now. Maybe because Chipmunk is thinking about, is trying to figure out what our opponent is going for to then counter it. Because we haven't really seen a main military unit that Tom is committed to so far. Bracer coming in. And husbandry. Okay. Elephant slightly less slow. So we're flowing a lot of res. I don't mind, like, taking more space and, like, sending a push. But I kind of... I guess what I would like to see is, like, just place a bunch of production buildings now. Because what you don't want to happen is kind of be caught off guard. Like, your opponent comes forward with, like, 30 elephant archers. And... like a treb and some bomber cannons or something, and you're not prepared to at least start producing army. I mean, you have the res, you can just, like, you know, and, you know, if you think about the range is typically what Dravidians go for. It's kind of like their main thing. So I don't think it's that bad to just spec into skirm some more. Or at least just get some ranges out. I mean, if you want, you could even go for your own Arbalester, right? They're perfectly fine as a melee. You have your Thumb Ring, you have Bracer, you have Arbalester. I know your opponent has good skirms, but... so maybe that's not the play, but, you know. We have 3 trebs out, about to have 4. Chipmunk does not trickle treb. Okay, we do see the stables now, which I like. I also like that they're forward. And again, I really like the vision. See, this is the thing. Chipmunk can play very confidently, because it's not like we know somewhere where our opponent is and we're like wondering have they expanded. No, we know our opponent is here. And that is it. And Tom, on the other hand, doesn't really know how much Chipmunk has expanded. Okay, we're getting crossbow and archer armor. I'd like to see some ranges placed up front if we're going to go for that. Ballistics coming in, thumb ring coming in. Ooh, elite elephant archer and medical core, which gives you regen on your elephant archers. We now have 5 trebs coming forward for Chipmunk, and no bomber cannon. I don't think we even have a siege workshop for Tom. Yeah, now we're getting pretty cramped for space as well. Getting elite battle elephant. Trebs are gonna come forward, and this castle is gonna go down pretty quickly. Now we're making a lot of elephant archers, but we're a little slow to the draw. We're still missing bracer. I'm not sure if we got chemistry in. And Chipmunk, I think you could just hit the castle right now. Yeah, there we go. The Rumi swordsmen come around, but they don't see anything. Now we see the trebs. And uh-oh. This is bad news. They come forward. We're gonna try and kill the trebs, but we have elephants. We're missing 2 attack upgrades though. But they are elite. And we're gonna all die. And the castle goes down. We're gonna try and stonewall behind it, but I don't think that's gonna work out for us. I think we need to get a nice mass of full upgraded elite battle elephants. We got some forward there. I think we should drop a siege workshop, get some bomber cannons out. That's kind of our best bet against the trebs. Or cannon galleon. Cannon galleon would also do really well here. Hey, chemistry's coming in, bracer's coming in. We can still defend this with the cannon galleon. I actually have no idea how the elephant archers do here against these. So this is 300 HP versus 280. They do actually regen for the Dravidians though. We're also housed because of the castle going down. Uh oh, actually this is really bad. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. This university might go down before chemistry even comes in too. You have to make a new university. Oh, that's really bad actually. I think you just fight this. Well, like, pull to the castle is good. Let's see, how do they do? I mean, they're missing upgrades, so they do pretty nicely actually. Chipmunk doesn't have to be careful of this. Skirms are good against this though, and we have fully tech skirms. I think we're just missing some ranges on the front lines. So yeah, I actually think the elephanters kind of do pretty well here, and they're still missing 2 upgrades. So maybe we just go to full skirm now for Chipmunk. I mean, I like the elephants too. They're not as tanky, of course, because they are melee. But they are cheap. Now the Crams can come in and do some raiding. Ooh, nice garrison with the monks. Hope we see a blacksmith university though. And now Chipmunk is maybe getting a little tunnel visioned. I mean, like, this is fine, but imagine, like, we can see this. Like, we just send a single treb or some Kramwits or something over there, or a few elephants or something. Kind of pushing the issue a little too much, I feel like, without just getting a whole bunch of skirms here to deal with the elephant archers. But I think this castle will probably go down. Elephant archers don't do that much damage versus trebs, of course. Siege engineers coming in. Okay, we're going to drop a castle here. Trying to Vil rush the trebs. Maybe we'll kill some, but actually we have so much res for Chipmunk, and we're at 200 pop. Tom is housed. We're getting a elite Karambit. Oh, that's why we had elephant archers here. It's because we had these 2 ranges. Ah. So luckily we can actually set the galleon point for this. These 2 Karambits tickling the ankles of the elephant here. This castle will deny more gold. Also, like, another thing I would have liked, because Chipmunk had so much vision, would have liked maybe some more preemptive castles on the gold here, but, you know, not a huge deal. I think the vision is much more important anyway. We still haven't gotten a blacksmith university up for Tom. Just under a lot of pressure here. Bombard tower now for Chipmunk. So we're pop capped, so we can't add any more army, but we can add bombard towers. And the archers do pretty well here, actually. But luckily we have fully teched skirm, so we can just go for that. Getting devotion in. Another option against mass elephants, you can go for a scorpion, like mass scorpions. They do get a bonus towards elephants as well, so if we were really concerned, that could be an option for us. Some panic fish traps from Tom here. Kind of losing a lot of our elephant archers here. And losing a lot of Vils. Squires in. Arson in. And Chipmunk has a very dominant position. You can see how Tom is like just totally squeezed into this corner. Doesn't have any on gold anymore. Has this gold patch you could grab. But the problem is that, like, even if Tom holds this position, how does he actually kill his opponent, right? Chipmunk has so much res, could like, you know, build 3 wonders, and has all the options to deal with these elephant archers, which is kind of like the only thing Tom is going. Tom still hasn't built another blacksmith university. Like imagine how even better these elephant archers would do with their full upgrades. But I also think fighting here is kind of a mistake. I think you'd be better off just pulling towards the castle. But we do have this castle now for Chipmunk, and we can make a treb out of here. Now a castle on the shoreline, while Tom is distracted. Block printing coming in. And the fact that the region is quite nice as well. But I still think this is basically like this is how you don't lose, but you can't win. It's like, it's kind of hard to win from here, really. If you look at how much control of the map Chipmunk has, and this is the only gold that Tom has access to. We have devotion in for these elephants, but they're still so slow that the conversion should go off. But also still not a huge loss. We're actually getting faith as well. I mean, we have the res for it, so we may as well. We're really just missing some siege from Chipmunk right now. I think it's because we are at 200 pop. We could definitely cut some bills. We have the res to cut bills and get some siege out. We have a treb out now, which can start trebbing this down. Karambits are in here. We'll actually fight back with the bills. And now we have a pretty nasty mass of elephant archers, but again, they're missing upgrades. They're actually missing 2 armors as well. But now the skirms are out. And we don't have any in gold, so I mean, like, even if we could lose, like, we can afford to lose hundreds of skirms here for Chipmunk. And in the meantime, we're pushing this position. The only gold that Tom has access to. We actually wanted to build a outpost here, but not gonna happen, I don't think. Going to Arbalester. I think we still haven't built a blacksmith for Tom. We could also build a cannon galleon and destroy this. I don't think we can range this, but we could actually range this. And the GG is called. Congrats. And it is a victory in the set for Chipmunk. So some interesting games, pretty back and forth. I think these players are pretty evenly matched, I feel like. I feel like they both had a pretty good shot at winning this game. I know this game looked pretty one-sided for a long time, but that was kind of more towards the end. I think Chipmunk did a really good job of outposting, getting map control. Kind of just defending here, right? Not being greedy. Got fully upgraded elite skirms at the time to defend the push. And then Tom just didn't quite have enough for the push. And then I think things got pretty awkward there, right? It's kind of like, well, I had the archers, I wanted to get some damage, and it didn't quite happen. And I think you just needed to really commit to your boom there. And then maybe try and find some timing attack with, like, bomber cannons and elephant archers or archers. And you can see how, like, the elephant archers did really well, but they're really expensive to set up. We even were missing upgrades still. But, you know, we just weren't quite able to get there. I think with the fishing traps, they do have potential, though, because you can get a really nice eco setup. And Chipmunk just really spammed out the TCs. I think that, to me, the biggest thing that really won Chipmunk a lot of these games, or really put him in a good position, was how good he was at expanding and taking on map control. I think Tom, maybe it's because he didn't have the vision for it, but just seemed to always be stuck in a corner, which made things really hard when he wanted to push out. So I think if he just got some military out, did some scouting, dropped some outposts or something like that, you could be more confident in expanding out to the sides. But GG's. I do need to head out now. I need to go get to work. I don't know if Chipmunk, you're still around, but hope you've enjoyed the cast. Glad I could finally get to the cast of it. We mean to do this for a while, but I have been quite busy. Thanks for casting games. Yeah, no problem. It was fun to cast. Happy to cast your games, yours and Tom's. Yeah, I mean, like, kind of as expected from these maps, pretty chaotic for both players, I would say. But yeah, congrats to you. Good luck in your future sets. And I think I'm going to go ahead and end stream. There's another set I want to cast in my own bracket, which is the Raven versus, I think it was Quiet. Particular Elite Elephant versus Elite Elephant, something you hadn't seen before. Yeah, it's pretty uncommon. I mean, they're so expensive, especially with the Elite upgrades, but kind of both players, it seemed like both players, they kind of wanted to get to that comp. So neither of them pushed heavy and, like, until you folks got into some late imp, so you could get all your upgrades. Although Tom still missed upgrades on his Elite Elephant archers. They still did really well. That was kind of crazy. They did really well, and they were still missing a bunch of upgrades. Yeah. Hey, you have a good one too, Chipmunk. All right. Well, that's it, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Hope you all have a good one, and see you next time.